Welcome back to episode 45 of the Block Runner Podcast. I'm your host, William, always here with your co-host, I-Man.
What it do?
All right, thank you for being here again, I-Man.
Yes, sir.
We just had a long conversation about NFTs.
That's all we talk about, dude.
That's all we talk about recently.
How do I turn myself up? I can barely hear myself.
You're probably number one here.
Hello. That's better.
That's better?
All right, yeah, man. That as of late. Okay, why? Because multiple reasons.
I think, first of all, there's a lot of news about NFTs just recently.
News?
Yeah, like Spencer Dinwiddie.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, okay, go ahead. Dive into that. Like, everyone's like, who the fuck is that guy?
Well, we'll get to that, but there's that guy. I think, I don't know.
Well, we had Andres here a couple weeks ago.
Oh, that's what it was.
We
the catalyst.
We baited him into the NFT talk.
Yeah.
Per personal request of like members of the DCL community, and we're genuinely interested ourselves.
Yeah.
Because we're new to the space, but we're like every day we're getting deeper and deeper into it.
That's for sure.
And like we're finding more and more ways, or kind of like concocting new like more and more ways to get involved, I guess, or just maybe, I don't know, expand on what already exists. So yeah, I guess on this podcast we're gonna hash out some of our thoughts as far as like we have like new, I don't know, ideas. What do you want to call that, Will?
Yeah, we've definitely had some new ideas into the NFT space. Obviously, there was this whole ICO run-up in 2017.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about, how do you create your own cryptocurrency, then how do you create your own NFT tokens?
It's a general theme of this podcast, right? Like, why did we start this podcast? To get balls deep into the crypto market, right? But as we keep going on, we're finding out cryptos are fucking dead. Like most of them.
Talk about coin. What was it called?
COS.
COS?
Well, I just read something on Reddit, COS.io. I vaguely remember the name because in 2017 it was one of these projects that everyone was shilling as like, the next second coming. I'm not sure if it's an exchange. It might be an exchange. I think it was like an all-in-one platform for cryptocurrencies, right? That already sounds like super scammy. Like they were totally capitalizing on all the hype. No, not COS. COS. COSS. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, let's check it out. But yeah, this thing it was shilled everywhere, all over Reddit, all over Telegram, whatever the fuck. People thought it was the shit in 2017. Now it's starting to look...
So I just went to COS.io.
Okay. This is funny.
Dear users, COS has paused all trading, deposits, and withdrawals on the 7th of January 2020. The site will be put under maintenance for the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Damn.
The current interface and API trading will be made unavailable to users. During this time, we will be migrating all our users to a brand new platform. All open orders will be canceled, balances and accounts will be migrated, and your funds will be safe. The new platform will boast of the following features: low latency for automated trading, super fast order matching engine, advanced APIs, built-in liquidity solution, iOS and Android applications, and margin trading. It says, we shall be available on Telegram through the entire downtime to answer any questions. For support related queries, please email. And then we're expecting a huge volume of queries, and responses might take up to 5 to 7 days. There is no need to panic.
Damn, they had to put that in there, huh? Wait, hold on. Please do not believe in the FUD. Is what it says.
That's what it says. Yeah.
Either way, dude. Like if you, there's a couple lessons here. Like for one, you don't want to leave your funds on exchange, right? Because at any moment they could just.
That's right.
They could just freeze your account, dude. Like all of a sudden, it's like fuck, I can't get my funds. What if you needed this money?
Yeah.
Too bad. You gotta wait a couple months before you can get access to it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, we're at the mercy of that, right? Like decentralized exchanges haven't.
They haven't taken off for some reason.
Well, liquidity's not there. Yeah, there is no migration, right? That was a big speculation again in 2017.
Yeah.
Once these platforms are created and launched, which they are, they're up and running.
Yeah.
There hasn't been like a great migration to them. Why? I don't know. Centralization might be better.
It operates a lot faster.
Exactly.
and
Less latency, I guess. There's there's tons of benefits, right?
Yeah.
You got customer service. As shitty as it probably is, I'm thinking Binance here.
Yeah, and then they have insurance for any lost funds.
There you go.
So There are some benefits, but if you're one of those people that really care about like controlling your funds, you have DEX solutions. But even then, like there isn't like the DEX.
Not yet.
There isn't a Binance version of a DEX. Well, I guess Binance has a DEX, right?
I think it has one. Yeah,
it has one.
I don't think anybody uses it.
Yeah,
it doesn't have the volume. I don't know, but that's a whole different topic.
Yeah.
But the point is, the point is like fuck.
So
the point is, like I said,
cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, they're not dead. It's just
they're from the 2017 high, we're starting to see all the ones that are falling apart now.
Yeah, every time we come on this podcast, we got a new one that's either exposed as a legit scam, or they just run out of funds, so they have to close shop.
Yeah.
This is all part of the great purging. That's what we were expecting, right?
Yeah.
Like at some point, all these shit coins have to die off, right? If we're in like a real bear market, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
We're supposed to weed out the losers and the winners, like sustain and thrive. And once the next bull market returns, they should be the ones popping off, in theory.
Yeah. And so we're speculating now. The next speculation event is going to be around NFTs. We did say that there was going to be a speculation around DeFi, but not speculation, but there was going to be an innovation in DeFi that would propel the next run up. And it doesn't seem like that's going to happen just because the nature of DeFi, it's sort of against that, right? It's not that it's designed against it. Like there's nothing speculative about this decentralized finance.
Nothing.
It as a matter of fact, it should be the opposite of speculation. Be safe.
It's more like stabilizing your wealth.
Right.
It's like an escape from like traditional volatility. Put it into something more stable.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the idea of DAI is that, or in compound, you can stake your DAI in compound and earn interest.
Yeah.
And right now, that interest is a little bit under 6%.
Yeah.
And so that's really good. You're not going to get that at any bank or at any CD, despite what Richard Hart would say.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, like I had a friend who he wanted to start like a micro lending business. He was pitching this idea to me.
Oh, really?
I don't
yeah.
have to say his name.
Yeah,
anyway,
for sure.
But I was thinking about that, and it's like, dude, like essentially what you're doing on Compound is like you're micro lending,
correct,
through a decentralized platform, but you don't have to do all the freaking
negotiations.
Or like what if somebody doesn't pay you like in the real world? Like I was telling him this, like, dude, you don't know the hassle of like chasing people down to like, where's my money, bitch?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's a tough, especially like in the micro lending aspect. Like, dude, that's a lot of stress just to have like a few $1,000s floating out there in the ether, right?
Yeah.
So it's like in this aspect, it's just all programmed into a smart contract, right? If
they
don't keep up.
You can only take out a loan if you stake collateral.
You have to over collateralize.
That's right.
Your positions or whatever, your loans. So that's nice. It's like a stress-free loaning gig. You know what I mean? I was telling him about this, and he's like, "Nah." You know what I mean? It's like this is clearly like if you got like a few $1,000s, which he does, like he just wants to find something to do with it.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know what? I'll just lend it to people I don't know who have terrible credit and most likely are not going to pay me.
Right.
Going to default.
Right.
And then he's got to like figure out how to collect. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what struck me right now is in 2017, we had lending platforms which all were scams. Remember BitConnect was a lending platform.
Yeah.
And we had several of these like scams going on, and they were all lending platforms. At least that's what they were touting.
Yeah.
And now we actually have real lending platforms, and they have a positive connotation.
Oh yeah, well this is like different.
It's different for sure. I mean, we're talking about decentralized finance here.
True.
Which is not the same as a BitConnect scam, whatever they were pushing over there.
Yeah, true. But like you said, this is all fine and dandy, and it's a great use case for the Ethereum blockchain and all this stuff, but this isn't going to catalyze any kind of like mania phase, just like the ICOs did.
Yeah, correct.
But I see a lot of similarities between ICOs and NFTs. As far as like people are creating these speculative instruments, that's how I view NFTs. Yeah. Just like I did cryptocurrencies when they were being, anyone who had an idea for crypto, they were just throwing it out there into the ether. Like I said, they're throwing darts at a dartboard, see if anything lands, right?
Right.
And during the mania phase, everything was fucking landing. So right now, like we're definitely not in a mania because I'm sure there's tons of NFTs out there that are like,
that are trash.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we got like the main staples in the NFT market. Like you got Decentraland land, we got crypto. Yeah, here we go. Let's go to OpenSea. Let's take a look, dude. Let's check it out and sort it by like the highest valued shit. Look at all this stuff, man.
Yeah, this is crazy.
I mean, this looks like traditional.
Highest last sale.
There you go. Yeah, these are like traditional in-game looking items. You know what I mean? That's what's so crazy about this.
Decentraland.
There it is. There's a cat. It's called Dragon.
600 ETH?
No way.
That's what that says right there, dude.
That's not ETH, is it? I think it's $600. That's my guess.
No way, dude.
See, it says dollar.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Oh, shit. No, it might
600
be Ether, dude. No fucking way. I don't even want to do the calculation for that. It's going to make me depressed. But anyways, let's look at this thing. Let's break it down. This is the first time we've actually like opened OpenSea and
So this CryptoKitty is called Dragon. It says salutations. I'm Dragon. A bit Rebecca Black when I was younger.
I bit
Rebecca Black when I was younger, but those days are gone. Believe it or not, spying on the neighbors is seriously exhilarating. You should try it sometime. Let's connect on ICQ.
Who the fuck wrote that for one?
Some millennial.
Is it the owner of this? Yeah, it's got to be like the owner, right? Like he's listing this for sale, and this is his like.
Yeah, this is like the description of the cat, right?
Jesus, dude, that did not make me want to buy that cat. Like not even a little bit.
I don't know. I think that ICQ quote there.
What's that
made
even
the
mean?
difference. ICQ used to be like a chat platform back in the day in the late 90s.
Dude, what the fuck? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay, like 0.001% of people know that. That's what I'm saying.
Well, if you're a millennial, you might know that.
I didn't know
It's
that.
like AIM, dude.
I remember AIM.
Yeah, it was like that.
Okay.
I seek you. I seek you.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Wow, dude. That was some mind-blowing stuff.
All right, so properties. Purple haze is the accent color.
So 5% have this trait. So this is a pretty rare trait. I guess 5% sounds pretty rare to me.
5%. Base color is cotton candy. 8% have this trait. Cool down timer, snappy, 30 minutes. 7%.
What does that mean? Cooldown? Oh, is that like the cooldown on fucking? Like mating, maybe?
Perhaps.
Okay.
Perhaps. Eye color is chestnut, 5%. Eye shape is raised brow, 5%.
Wow, just because he has the people's eyebrow going?
The people's eyebrow, that's right.
Dude, that's intense. Okay.
Fur is sphinx, 7%. Highlight color, Egyptian coal, 5%. Mouth, say cheese, 7%. Pattern, 7%. Virginity, virgin.
This is a virgin cat then.
Says 50% have this trait.
So that means a lot of people aren't breeding their cats, right? I'm assuming.
That's what it looks like.
Okay.
So this virginity trait is it's a virgin, 50%, but it's 1 out of 906,000.
What is that number? 906,000.
I don't know, but
906,000 virgins out there? Probably, right?
No, 906,000 kittens, and 50% of them are virgins, and this is 1 out of the 50%.
Okay.
And then the last element here is called the wild element. It has a dragon tail. So
no, see, then this is one of 6. So 6,227 crypto cats have a dragon tail.
A dragon tail. So this represents 0.34% have this trait.
So basically, so then the virgin thing then it means there's 906,000 virgins cats.
No, there's 906,000 cats.
I don't think so, dude.
Yeah.
I think you got to multiply that by 2 because that means 50% are virgins, 50% are not.
Oh, I see.
So there's like
I see.
There's 1.8 million cats in existence, I guess. Dude, that's a fuck ton of cats. I think. I'm just trying to figure this out.
Yeah, I guess you're right, dude.
That's a lot of cats.
So then it says stats 9 generation out of 3,800.
So it's the 9th gen. It's pretty early. Damn, dude, I should have fucking bought an early cat, dude. I can't believe I didn't. So dumb. Well, they were going like way too expensive back then. Oh yeah, let's go.
Like how much?
Like, well, for one, Ethereum was like 10x what it is today. So everything was more expensive back then. I guess it probably back then it was cheaper in the sense that I probably had more
ETH.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More funds to waste on shit like this or speculate with, I guess. These days is a little harder, right? Like clutching onto your funds is dear life, dude.
So here's the elevator pitch for CryptoKitties in case you're unaware. CryptoKitties is a game centered around breedable, collectible, and oh so adorable creatures we call CryptoKitties. Each cat is one of a kind and 100% owned by you. It cannot be replicated, taken away, or destroyed.
So basically, it's an NFT with like a cute cat on the cover, right? Because all NFTs share that trait. Like it's a unique asset registered on the Ethereum blockchain that you own.
Right.
Right. But yeah, we were talking earlier. What makes CryptoKitties so valuable? I guess is because it was the first viral NFT created. I guess, and they're cats, dude. Cats are freaking popular as fuck, man.
Right.
So
look at that Dragon Tail, another cat, 599 ETH.
Wait, why does it say 5 years left? Oh, that's just like the auction. Okay. You don't see that?
Oh, I see. Yeah. 5 years left.
Anyways, so that's one.
So, yeah, we're trying to understand like this whole NFT space. And I guess one of the origin NFTs would be CryptoKitties, right? We had CryptoPunks. What was the other one that you mentioned earlier?
There was like Pepe's.
Oh, Pepe's, yeah.
Yeah, there's different Pepe's early on.
And I'm sure there was other obscure NFTs before then as well.
Yeah, but this is the one that went hot.
Yeah, this
viral.
is
like this was
what choked the Ethereum network, and
yeah, this one like got mentioned on like mainstream press.
Yeah,
you know, for a first time, like
cats constrict blockchain network.
Yeah, there's a lot of headlines like that, like Ethereum broken by cats.
Yeah,
some shit like that. So it was like a good look and a bad look at the same time, right? But it was exciting when I first saw it. I was like, "Damn, dude! Like things are happening."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like I don't know. So, anyways,
so CryptoKitties, we have land from Decentraland. We have F1.
More land, more cats, more cars.
We got Prometheus.
There we go. Gods Unchained. So
yeah, let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at the properties of Gods Unchained.
Okay.
So the highest offer was wrapped ether.
What's that mean?
I think
it's just an ether, right?
It's ether that earns you interest, kind of like a wrapped Bitcoin.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? That's pretty cool. So it's about $235, I'm guessing. That's what that 235 stands for.
Yeah. So this looks like the one that was $100,000, no? Or that was a different card.
It could be the same card, but maybe it's not like number one. Maybe.
Oh, okay.
Number one is probably like the most valuable.
So properties. So God, it's a neutral. So 29% have this. Keyword is burn. 3% have this. Quality is meteorite. 94% have this trait. Rarity is mythic. One of three.
Only
Very
three
rare
have
trait.
that. See, that's cool. That's a legit trait right there.
Huh.
Mythic.
One of three. And then the set is mythic. One of three. Very rare. Type is a creature. 68% have this trait.
Okay.
So, but one ether? I don't know. I'm missing something here. Let me click on this. Bid withdrawn. Oh, it was 235. Oh, the offer for this is one ether. And it was sold for 235. So that's a little bit more.
235 ethers?
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense because like, dude, that sounds like a pretty rare card. Like one of three. Jesus. Oh shit. Hold on. Was it ever sold before? No. Auctioned a month ago. This is a new. Oh wait, hold on. Hit load more. Oh, it says birth. So that's the very beginning, right?
Yeah.
It says birth. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
2 months ago. Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah. See,
so these are random rolls, dude. So you create this smart contract and you have like these properties and you random roll these properties and you get what you get when you You birth them, I guess.
So like the image itself, the card itself is already like it's pre-created.
Pre-rendered, yeah.
Yeah, pre-rendered. And then what you're rolling on are these properties, I guess.
Yeah, correct.
That are attributed to your specific rendered card. That's what I never understood. Like with these like cats and stuff. Like whenever you breed a cat, it's just like you're generating a new unique ID on the blockchain, right?
Correct.
So it's like a new genetic code.
Yeah.
But then like, do you have to wait for the Dapper Labs or whatever to like draw it up for you, or like
that's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know the process myself because I never participated, but I'm curious.
That's a good cat. I'm sure they have. So, like for example, this tail from this cat, they've already had it drawn up, right? It's part of an algorithm that they run.
Yeah.
And if it rolls a dragon tail, then you get a dragon tail. And then since you rolled a purple cat, the dragon tail is now purple.
Yeah.
And so that's how they probably don't they automatically generate these renders.
Okay.
And that's why all the cats look very similar.
So it's probably like, yeah, you're right. They're all like just templates.
Yeah, they're all templates. They all look the same, but
same body shape.
Same body shape. They have maybe some are fat, some are skinny. It doesn't matter. But there's like an eyebrow. Some have whiskers, some don't. Some have dragon tails, some don't. Like some have wings. Like it's all like rolled. It's all part of the algorithm that's random, I guess.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, that's cool. Yeah, man, we need to start buying some of these for real. You know what I mean?
Buying? Let's just make one, dude.
Oh, shit. Well, okay.
So this is a little bit more furry. This one
see,
floats.
that one looks different.
Well, it looks different just because it has a floating property.
Well, that's the Genesis cat. Click on that. I want to see how expensive that motherfucker is. Dude, that's the one. That's the very first cat. Look at that motherfucker. It looks like a Mew.
It does. It says, "Greetings, human. I am Genesis. The dogs know me as Alpha. The cats know me as Omega. To your kind, I am a riddle wrapped in an enigma. First found by a user in Mystery, Alaska. I looked into the void, and the void looked back. Then I lost interest. I can't wait to be your new owner. Highest offer is 20 wrapped ETH. Last sold for 246.
Where does it say that? Last sold.
Right here.
Oh, okay. Last sold.
Yeah, right here.
Okay, let's check a look at these properties.
So cooldown timer is fast, 1 minute. So 4% have this trade exclusivity. It's exclusive, one of 268.
Wow.
Fanciness, it's fancy.
What the fuck? What does that mean?
6% have this trait.
Fancy.
So not every cat has every property,
of course,
obviously.
Yeah.
So fancy type is Genesis, 1 of 1. Very rare trait. Virginity is virgin.
Wow.
So it doesn't have. I don't understand what's going on here, dude.
About what?
Like, okay. So this should go way back then.
Oh yeah, this is the OG, dude. Birth there.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
12:19 in the morning. November 23rd, 2017.
Yep. So
whoever got this cat, like, got extremely lucky, essentially.
I thought that motherfucker already got sold. Like, it was like $100,000 or something worth of ETH at the time or something. That sold 246. That's back then.
December. Ooh, shit. That was like
an ETH, say like
$1,000.
Yeah, say like $1,000.
Yeah.
So what is that? Like
$200,000.
$246,000.
Shit.
That is crazy.
Damn.
Dude, whoever bought that.
Right now, it's not worth that much, dude.
No. Yeah, so the CryptoKitty, that's what I'm saying. It went through like a bubble-ish phase, right? These NFTs tend to do that.
So people are offering 0.0001 ETH. Like, these are troll offers.
Yeah.
And then it moved to a different wallet. And then more offers. This is interesting.
This isn't looking good, though.
Look at that.
So this guy's had this cat on the market for like years and hasn't like been able to sell it? Is that what's happening here?
Well, he sold it once.
Well, not he. Like, somebody sold it.
This guy, yeah. This
new
current
owner,
guy.
he's fucked.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he can't liquidate this no more. He's just getting nothing but troll offers, dude. Nobody wants it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. They might have big problems, dude.
No, I mean, you just hold on to it. I mean, you didn't buy this to like flip it, did you?
I don't know.
How are you gonna
obviously,
how are you
dude,
gonna
he's got
spend
it. He has it on the market, dude.
how are you gonna spend $200,000 on this
Because
crypto kitty?
he probably made like millions during the run up, and he probably like fucked up and like held, he hodled, and now he's like the taxes are coming up. He's like, fuck, man, I really need to liquidate my shit coins. But yeah, in this case, this is the Genesis cat, dude. I definitely wouldn't sell that for sure. It's actually kind of crazy that it's on the market. Nobody's buying it.
Yeah, I mean,
He probably wants too much for it.
This is a cat that you like. You just show off. You don't really sell.
See, then this is my question. Okay, like, how do you flex this cat?
That's a good question.
You know what I mean? Like, nobody knows you own this fucking thing unless like maybe like your inner circle. You have to like log into your wallet and be like, hey.
Yeah,
get over here.
Yeah,
it's like, look, you want to see something cool?
Yeah.
It's like, check out, I got the Genesis cat. It's like, you want to fuck?
Yeah.
You know? I don't think it's you get that much clout from owning the Genesis cat.
Yeah, probably not.
But my point is, there needs to be a way for you to flex these fucking things. Or what's the point, dude?
Yeah, for sure.
If you're spending all this money,
but how would you do it ideally?
Like social networking type platform.
Shit, yeah, maybe Facebook.
How do you
provide
flex
some integration?
like an NFT Instagram, dude? Like how do people flex in real life? Fucking Instagram and like Twitter and Facebook.
Well, your identity is your Instagram.
Yeah, your identity's online, right?
Yeah,
but there is no crypto identity yet.
It's true.
What I mean?
Yeah, maybe like on Instagram you can like start displaying your NFT like arsenal.
I don't know. I do. I've never been on Instagram my whole life. I don't even know how it works.
Don't go on there. It's toxic as hell.
Because of that, right? It's just people flexing.
Yeah.
Literally.
It's fake news all day.
Yeah. But I guess these are different. You don't have to flex, but I don't know. It'd be nice if you could.
Yeah. Okay, so you had some questions on ERC tokens?
What is this? Is this the Bible?
This is the Bible.
Show the Bible. Who made this?
Gosh, it was Devin.
Oh, it's Opensea, right?
Yeah, Devin Finzer. He posted it on Opensea blog.
Okay.
4 days ago. So I definitely recommend reading this. This was like really easy to read, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a really good. I looked at the table of contents and I thought, I was like, dude, I don't know if I want to do this.
Yeah.
It looks really long, but it's not that long. You could probably finish it in like 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah. It looks long, but it's not long. And it's a pretty easy read. Plus, if you're interested in NFTs, like this will go by like pretty quick.
Yeah, man. And and there's lots of people out there who are like beginning to recognize like these things are, you know, if you ever played an MMO like World of Warcraft or something, there's people who legit, well, not made a living, made like a virtual living, like playing the auction house game. Basically, like the objective in that game, well, one of the objectives was to like get as much gold as you could, right? Because everything costs gold, just like it does in real life.
Yeah.
So there's multiple ways to do that. Either you grind off of like mobs in the game, or you can manipulate the in-game economy to your advantage. So you would go to an auction house and you would buy out like a whole sector of like maybe raw materials or whatever, and then you would like raise the price or something like that. Kind of like, or you could undercut the market.
Sure.
There's ways to do it. Just like people buy and sell on eBay, same shit.
Yeah.
So like in this NFT space, people are starting to experiment with that and actually like profit. Maddie has said things like that. He's starting to make some. I mean, he's been doing that with land, right? Buying and selling land.
Yeah.
But now he's starting to experiment with these gods and chain cards, other shit, right? So, anyways,
yeah. So non fungible tokens is the long version of what we keep talking about called NFTs. And the standards are part of what makes non fungible tokens powerful. They give developers the guarantee that assets will behave in a specific way and describe exactly how to interact with the basic functionality of the assets. So we have a couple of ERC standards. So the original ERC was called ERC 20. And that ERC 20 standard was to make your own Ethereum token, an ERC 20 token that there are thousands of these tokens on Ethereum right now.
Yeah.
And that's what was used during the ICO phase when people were creating their own tokens to sell for their given product that they hope people were to, just buy in and profit off of their project, I guess. Speculative stuff.
And I'm assuming Vitalik came up with this standard, I'm guessing.
I don't know what the origin of ERC-20 was.
Yeah.
It could have been developed by the community.
Yeah. Somebody, I don't know, either Vitalik or just somebody early on in the community figured out.
Somebody just made it easy to create tokens.
Yeah.
And they made it into a standard, ERC-20. And so, having said that, there are other standards for NFTs, and the first one is ERC-721. And so this was pioneered by CryptoKitties. Mm-hmm. Okay, so 721 was the first standard for representing non-fungible digital assets. So that's why CryptoKitties, was popular, I guess, because they set a standard.
Yeah.
And ERC 721 is inheritable solidity smart contract standard, meaning that developers can easily create new ERC 721 compliant contracts by importing it from OpenZeppelin library. So OpenZeppelin is a company that audits different smart contracts. Mm-hmm. So what they do is they make sure that smart contracts don't have any bugs or any malicious backdoors.
Like before or after this shit gets launched?
Before, yeah.
So you have to check in with these guys before you issue your own smart contract or something?
No. So if you do a ERC 721 contract for your own NFT,
yeah,
you don't have to go through them. It's already verified. You're just reusing it. But what I'm saying is what they did was before it became a standard, they looked at the smart contract and verified it.
So everyone who's creating NFTs right now, like all that Opensea shit we just saw,
those are all 721s.
ERC 721s.
Correct.
So CryptoKitties built like a template.
Correct.
So all you do is like plug in your specific, just like you would for a cryptocurrency.
That's right.
Just plug in the name, plug in the amount.
That's
something
right.
like that.
That's right. Yeah,
Okay.
the name, how many you want to start out with, and maybe a couple other entries.
So what about all these traits and stuff? Does that have anything to do?
I think that's something that you add to the smart contract.
Really?
That's something that you customize. So like if you had a CryptoKitty versus Gods Unchained, they each have traits that apply to their game mechanic.
Yeah, and I don't think CryptoKitties has their breeding process. I don't think Gods Unchained, you don't
breed,
cards together. I don't think that's what happens.
You don't mate gods.
No, gods just are. They just exist.
Yeah.
But I think so there's things that separate them, I guess.
Yeah, and it's all about the game mechanic, right? You mate these cats because that's part of their game. But in Gods Unchained, it's kind of independent.
Okay, gotcha. Interesting.
So it says here, ERC 721 is actually relatively simple. It provides a mapping of unique identifiers, each of which represent a single asset to address which represent the owner of that identifier. So ERC 721 also provides a permissioned way to transfer these assets using the transfer form. So then they get into a little bit of code here. So 721, just to keep in mind, is like, that's the non-fungible. So what is fungibility? So what does that mean?
Break it down, Willis.
So when something is fungible, I'll give you an example of something that's fungible. Gold. So gold can be broken down into pieces. Bitcoin, you can have half a Bitcoin or a quarter or a tenth, a millionth of a Bitcoin. You can have, 1,000th of an ounce of gold if you wanted. So those are fungible, things that can be broken down into pieces. So that's why CryptoKitties are non-fungible, so that you can't have half a cat or a quarter of a cat. You can only have one cat.
Uh-huh.
And so that's why non-fungibles NFTs is represented by the standard ERC 721. So and then of course there's another standard called ERC 1155, and there's not a whole lot of standards yet. So these are the first two, and we'll talk about one more after this one. But ERC 1155 was pioneered by an Engine team.
Mm-hmm.
And this brings the idea of semi-fungibility to the NFT world. So you can imagine what a semi-fungibility is: a cat that is sort of merged with food. So food has a fungibility to it. You can have half of food, half of chicken wing. half of an amount of food. And so you would sell this as a coupled asset to somebody, right? Your cat with this fungible food. Let me see if they provide an example here. So the other example to this would be, one advantage of this type of system is efficiency. With ERC 721, if a user wanted to transfer 1,000 swords, they would need to modify the smart contract state for 1,000 unique tokens. So essentially, you would have to send somebody 1,000 swords in 1,000 different transactions.
One at a time.
One at a time. So then with ERC 1155, the developer need only call transfer form with quantity of 1,000 and perform a single transfer operation.
Okay.
So in the case where you have a decentralized game and part of your game mechanic is to send multiple assets to people, then you would use the ERC 1155 standard so that you send those multiple assets all in one transaction instead of sending them in several independent transactions.
But this, I guess this is needed for why is this needed? So for junk items maybe?
It could be junk items.
It says right there, the trade-off is you get increased efficiency, but with the loss of information, no longer trace the history of the individual sword.
Yeah, because if I send you 20 swords or 1,000 swords, there is no history for each individual sword now.
Yeah,
it's
that devalues its value. I'm assuming
potentially. I mean, if your game mechanic doesn't
think of it as like a car, I used to be in the car market. People what increases the value of a car is if it has traceable history.
Yeah.
It has good records of transfer of ownership, has good records of maintenance and all that stuff. So I guess the same applies to these digital assets, right?
Right.
That makes sense. But I guess, so yeah, the efficiency part, some games might require mass transfer. I don't know,
yeah, some for example, if what's that game called? It was on Nintendo. Well, anyway, you would sort of mine for fruits and flowers, and you give some of these assets to other players in the game, but you're not giving them a single asset. You're giving multiple of the same assets, 20 apples, so forth. So perhaps your decentralized game allows you to send people assets, but in quantities.
Mm-hmm.
And so that would be that's when you would use ERC 1155, so that you're sending them in single transactions, not in multiple transactions.
Okay.
Because think about it. For me to send you a CryptoKitty, it's going to cost gas, even if it was for free, right? I was just giving you a CryptoKitty. It would cost gas.
Yeah.
So if I were to send you 20 swords, each one would cost gas. So with ERC 1155, it would be a one-time transaction.
Gotcha.
And so there's this other thing called composables, ERC 998 standard. So it's NFTs can own both non-fungible and fungible assets. There have only been several composable NFTs deployed on mainnet, but we think it's an exciting opportunity. Provide a template by which NFTs can own both non-fungible and fungible assets. So I think that's my earlier example of a CryptoKitty may own a scratching post and a feeding dish. The dish may contain some amount of fungible chow tokens. If I sell the CryptoKitty, I sell all the belongings of the CryptoKitty. So that's my earlier example. I had that confused with ERC 1155.
Oh, okay.
So the composable, I guess they call it composables, the ERC 998. That's where you can have a CryptoKitty with a fungible food, and you could sell that in one transaction. So this is just to show that Ethereum has these different standards from generating actual currency, right? The currency that you're well aware of. But not only that, but NFT style tokens as well.
I guess they go down from order of most valuable to least valuable.
Well, it's not that. It's more about what does the community need?
Well, yeah, if a gaming developer needs if you have a full blown inventory,
Yeah, let's say you had a Diablo character,
yeah.
and you had different assets attached to that character, and some of those assets are fungible, like gold. You can now send that character to somebody for,
Maybe not even just like maybe like just like in games you kill a gorilla and it drops like a tail or something like that.
Yeah.
Or if you kill a skeleton, it drops some bones. And there's these bones, you just keep collecting them over time. Maybe you could sell them on the open market for like just money.
The collective set of bones.
Yeah, the set of bones. Like you've harvested 1,000 bones over the last week of playing this game.
Right.
All of a sudden you want to liquidate.
Yeah.
So that you get your funds. Maybe other people want these bones for like certain recipes or something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a market. It's an economy.
Yeah.
In itself. So all these new standards are basically like experienced game developers. They're recognizing like this shit needs to be incorporated in order for us to have all the tools necessary to build legitimate games, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
That makes sense.
So I think a lot of this stuff came throughout like just the necessity of it,
But
not necessarily.
How does the engine token play into all this? Do you know?
I do not know. I think Engine needed this standard, or let's say Engine just made this, and then it became a standard.
Maybe that's where you liquidate, like the Engine platform or something, you get Engine tokens reward or something like that. I don't know. I'm literally just throwing that out of my ass, dude. I don't have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends. I mean, maybe somebody's creating a game based off the Engine network, and they just built a standard. Oh, well,
like you said, if you're building a game,
I think they built a smart contract, and then it became a standard.
Hosted by Engine or something like that?
It's not hosted. It was just developed by Engine. And now it's like open source, so we could use it. Anybody could use it.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. So, this is crazy.
So, I recommend this read. I think we just wanted to go over like the breakdowns of each ERC type.
Yeah, because to me, that's the hardest part to understand. Everything else is pretty, it goes over like the history of NFTs, how they were born, how they're progressing. And it gives you a lot of examples of the current market. Here we go. We got CryptoKitties. We'll talk about Decentraland at some point. Here you go. Speculative mechanics. Yeah.
5,000 ETH in volume during its peak.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, see? That looks pretty bubbly to me. So, I guess, this is just CryptoKitties, but the point, the reason why to pay attention to this stuff, like I said, they're speculative tools, man. That's what cryptocurrencies were at the beginning, man. It's just people were just creating tools for people to speculate with, So it's something to pay attention to for sure. And something for us, we want to get involved because this is...
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, we got tons of ideas, dude. I don't know if we want to...
Well, before we talk about those ideas, I think the last thing that we want to talk about is Spencer Dinwiddie. Let me bring this up real quick.
Okay.
So Spencer Dinwiddie is an NBA player. He plays for Brooklyn Nets. And so he said this week that he wants to tokenize his NBA contract on January 13th, which happens to be today. And this is in spite of the NBA's threat to ban him from the professional basketball league, which it's kind of important because the way he's looking to tokenize his guaranteed contract is, I think it's like a 4-year contract. The first 3 years are guaranteed, and the fourth year is like an option for the player. And so what he wants to do is he wants to tokenize his contract so that he gets all the money up front. And then in return for the investors, they would get 4.95% interest on that token. So let's see. So the bond will be issued with the help of a security token platform, Securitize.
Okay,
Whose CEO, Carlos Domingo, announced the partnership on Twitter. So he says, first bond being managed by a digital transfer agent operating on the Ethereum blockchain. So he hopes that there's many more to come. The idea surfaced in October 2019 when Dinwiddie announced his plan to roll out on the Ethereum-based investment platform Dream fan shares to sell 90 tokens called SD8 coins. The scheme would allow him to instantly collect $13.5 million off of his $34 million guaranteed 3-year contract. Token holders would then receive monthly payments in the next 3 years with a 4.95 base percent interest.
Huh.
Which is interesting.
So he's essentially
So what I'm thinking, if I was Dinwiddie, I'm thinking I can take $13.5 million and make more than 4.95% off of that $13.5 million. Make more than that percentage. And then just pay out I guess the investor is 4.95%, and I make the difference. Like you would have to.
Well, yeah.
So he's confident that he can make
if
above.
he's smart, or he could just blow it all. You know, it's essentially he's just loaning out his.
Dude, he would be so screwed, man.
Shit, dude, it's
got a
happened.
lawsuit
It's
up the
happened
ass.
so many times. That's exactly why the NBA is not down with this, dude.
Well, the NBA is not down with this is because they're not getting a cut or they're not involved. They're just
Yeah.
So the
There's
NBA wants to eventually. They're gonna want to facilitate all this stuff on the NBA platform.
Possibly.
That's why they're trying to stop him, dude. That's the only reason.
But
again,
also, like I said,
it's gambling.
Yeah. I haven't heard much about Securitized. I'm assuming this is like a SEC. I would hope this is a SEC regulated platform.
Probably.
Because this is a security token offering.
Yeah.
It's an STO.
Yeah.
It's like the people who are participating in this STO, they're like individually staking themselves into like the success of this guy's career, essentially. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it says here the NBA was not thrilled with Dinwiddie's proposal, claiming that the tokenization platform would constitute a breach of the NBA's players' collective bargaining agreement. The 3-year of his contract is optional, the 3rd year, which means that the investors would gain more in dividends in 2021 if Dinwiddie decided to pursue a higher-paying contract elsewhere. Pretty much what they said was that the player option was gambling. So, point here is that there's an NBA player trying to tokenize his NBA contract.
There you go, man. It's happening.
So, I mean, technically, this is his contract. He signed it. They're paying him. They're paying him to play. What I wonder is, like, what if he gets injured? I think it's still guaranteed, but I think there's, like, it just depends on what the contract says.
Yeah. A lot of contracts are, like, incentive-based, too.
Incentive-based,
based on, like, your performance and stuff.
Yeah, like, if you make the All-Star team, you get, like, a bonus.
Exactly.
You know, things like that.
That's where I would think, like, there'd be some kind of, like, like, speculation. Like, if I was, like, a STO investor into this guy's career, I would like to get a piece of that. Like, if he, you know, let's say it's a college player.
Yeah,
coming out
exactly.
of college.
That's what I expected. This is different than what I expected.
Yeah.
Like, you can own a piece of a college player so that when he gets into, like, a portion of
Let's say it's LeBron in high school.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he launches an STO for his fucking career.
Which
you know?
would be the most expensive NBA
STO
ever.
Yeah, everybody wanted a piece of his career,
for
right?
sure. Yeah, because he was already big in high school.
Yeah, so you're anticipating this guy is going to make multi-million-dollar deals in the future.
Yeah.
He could be the next Michael Jordan, have billion-dollar industry.
And all he would have to
name.
do is tokenize 20% of his identity.
Yeah, exactly. His career. His life achievement.
Basketball career.
And I don't know why he would want to raise all those funds, but I guess just for money.
Like, he would get money up front.
Exactly.
You know?
Who knows? Like, he could fucking tear his ACL like
the first
Friday
week.
night. And his career's over, and all of a sudden it's kind of like an insurance policy on his own career in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
And then these people are speculating like, fuck, man, I wanted a piece of this.
Exactly. That's what I was expecting.
Yeah.
But not this. This is
different. This is like boomer, like 4% interest rate. Dude, I'm sick of this shit, dude. All this boomer math. Like, dude, this is not risky enough for me, man. I need some juice.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what I want. I want to invest in like there's like this like YouTube kid. He's like trying to start a music career, like the next Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you know what? STO your fucking career, and we're gonna fund you, and then you can go on tour with all this money, and hopefully you become the next Beaver. And but I want a cut.
Yeah, you get 20% of like his earnings.
Well, if you own 20% of the tokens.
Well, if you own 20%, yeah.
Yeah, that's how it should go down, dude. That's the whole
Hell
point.
yeah.
Fuck, what the fuck's taking so long? God damn it! That's just what I'm telling you. It's
the SEC
regulation.
is like,
yeah.
God
Fucking
damn.
regulation, dude.
But like it's making progress though. Like
Yeah, exactly. That's what
Dinwiddie-
this is all about. Well,
clearly he's aware about the cryptocurrency market,
yeah,
and I think he's weighed his risk to benefit ratio in terms of like getting the 13.5 million up front and then paying out the 4.5 or 5% interest.
yeah.
I would think I can, with 13.5 million, I can make more than 5% on it.
Yeah, if you just give it all to like a financial advisor,
Yeah.
he was like, "Give me 15%, please. I'll be happy with that. Like triple my money or not, whatever." But yeah, whatever. But yeah, this is good. These are stepping stones, dude. I'm happy.
Yeah,
to
I thought it was cool.
Yeah,
I
security
think,
tokens is like, dude, I was like freaking balls deep into security
Yeah, you
tokens a
were.
long time ago.
that was, it used to be another of our prediction, like speculative event.
Dude, just
But the SEC like put a chokehold on that.
exactly.
That was it.
Yeah, and also, like, it limits speculation because I think up until now, only people who can actually participate in this market are like accredited investors.
That's right.
So it's like,
Oh shit! You know what? I don't know if we talked about the accredited investors like constriction was opened up a little bit
oh yeah,
so that the public can start participating in security tokens. Remember,
What?
I shared that with you.
you telling me the SEC like changes guidelines
Oh
just
yeah,
for
dude.
STOs?
Absolutely.
No fucking way,
Yeah, dude. Come on, man.
dude.
I
No
sent
fucking
this
way.
to you. Let's see if I can find it. SEC, accredited investor, change.
There it is.
So the SEC proposes to update accredited investor definition to increase access to investments. The Securities and Exchange Commission voted to propose amendments to the definition of accredited investor. One of the principal tests who is eligible to participate in our private capital markets. So, of course, they're not going to mention cryptocurrencies here. Let me do a quick search on crypto. No. Token. Nope. So,
Wrecked. Fucking wrecked. Told you, dude.
so I
Dude, I mean, it's just
If you're-
bullshit to begin with, man. You need like $1 million plus net. Dude, come on. It's like all the juicy opportunities are only available to the rich. Like,
yeah,
come
and
on,
that's
mate.
and that's the point of their opening it up a little bit. Now, I haven't verified how open it is, but they're changing it to make it a little bit more open. So what does that mean? I haven't.
Yeah, we
I
don't know the depths of that. We'll see. But yeah,
Yeah, because I think we put on the list a couple of weeks ago to talk about it, but I think we never got around to it just because we were talking about something else. But I'll look into this. I want to verify because I'm interested in this,
yeah.
and we'll
Yeah,
follow up on
that's
this.
kind of why I lost interest in STOs because like the issuance platforms like Polymath and I guess Securitize is another one I haven't really even looked into. But
Right.
yeah, it's like you couldn't even like get access to their the market data, like see what the hell's going on there because you're like you need a accredited investor just to like get into the fucking portal.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, dude, this sucks.
Yeah, this was issued December 18th, 2019.
This is
So,
very recent.
about a month ago.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
A month ago. Jesus, dude, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Good.
obviously, waiting for the SEC, you're going to be waiting forever, but nonetheless, there's progress. So, last thing we want to talk about is, so we've been tossing around this idea in the NFT space
Yeah.
where I don't even
Tossing
know.
around multiple ideas. For one, like the direction of this podcast
Yeah.
in general was one.
Well, that's one.
That kind of like started the whole conversation.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
far, everything that we've done has been transparent, open. I mean, we've
Dude,
talked about
yeah,
we talked about MetaZone way before we built it.
yeah. Like we stumbled on Decentraland. That's how we
stumbled-
found out.
yeah.
That's how well, I mean, we knew about NFTs, I guess, about CryptoKitties, but I didn't even technically know it was an NFT.
Yeah, we didn't really look into it either.
Not really. It was just
I heard cats. I'm like not interested.
Yeah, because we're all looking at this crypto thing, right? I think that's what the majority of the market's doing. Everyone's sleeping on this shit. But
yeah, so the main idea is that we've been transparent, and I think we want to remain transparent on the things that we want to look into and get some feedback from the community.
yeah, I know there's some of y'all out there who are like deep in. You're like in the same boat as us. You know, you want. You see opportunities in this market, either if it's Decentraland or NFTs or any other virtual world, and
and you want to contribute, I guess.
You want to see it succeed, man. I don't know how else to put it. Like we talk about
specifically
this all the time.
for Decentraland. I mean, we keep talking about Decentraland a lot because we want to see it succeed. We feel like it has like a large opportunity.
Yeah,
and we just. We want to do whatever we can to make it work.
Yeah, so like us as a team, all 3 or 4 of us, we're always thinking on our own time, like, dude, how do we what do we do here? How do we maximum contribute to like making this thing a reality? Like, we're not a part of the Decentraland team, obviously.
Yeah, we're not.
So we don't know what's going on internally. We're actually kind of like openly in disagreement with a lot of what they do, and we're not alone in these sentiments. There's a lot of people in the community who don't feel like what's being done is what needs to be done. I think they have all the right intentions. Obviously they want their platform to succeed, because they have a personal investment
for sure
at stake.
For sure. The last thing you want to do is you spend the last couple of years working on a project that doesn't do anything. And so, like you're saying, we have our own like opinions on where Decentraland should go and what they should focus on.
Yeah.
And what we're trying to do is just figure out ways where we can contribute to the community so that it's sustainable.
Yeah.
And
sustainable and like it I guess more attractive in a way.
Yeah.
It's like, because what we see right now, like if we're not in the mix, literally. And if we don't deploy what we have in mind, I think like people are just gonna log into this world once it launches. They're gonna explore. They're gonna be like, "Oh, this is cute,"
and they're gonna miss the point. They're gonna explore.
We're talking about normies here.
They're gonna explore and they're gonna walk around. It's like, well, this is nothing like Minecraft.
Like what do I do? Right?
Yeah, well,
why
why am I here?
Man, why am I supposed to spend mana? Like on what? What's there's? Yeah.
And so we've mentioned this before, and we're going to keep mentioning this because we feel like if it's not sustainable, nobody's going to come to Decentraland.
Yeah.
And so that's why we've come up with MetaZone, a way for people to like deploy stuff from creators. Anybody who can make anything in Decentraland with an SDK or with any 3D builder or 3D blender, you can put it on MetaZone and have somebody buy it and then deploy it onto their land. And hopefully the thing that you create has some sort of ROI mechanic, some way for the landowner and yourself to make money, in this case mana. And so that's why we built the games that we have. Like we have the Block Runner and we have Pack Runner. Mm-hmm. And so now we're thinking about how do we incorporate Decentraland with additional NFTs. And so we're tossing around this idea of having some mining component added on top of Decentraland. So players would go to, like, how would you explain it? Players would go.
Well, first of all, like, what I think like the most important thing is like the core philosophy behind it is, okay, we got an open world, right? That's been created. We didn't create this. There's 90,000 parcels out there. You could think of it as like legitimate land. If you eliminate like the whole digital aspect to it, there's a finite source of like building material out there, just like there is in Earth.
Yeah,
you can't build an infinite amount of stuff on Earth because there's
limited resources.
Yeah, so the same like economic, I guess, like infrastructure is there in the digital landscape. So I'm thinking. You can apply some of the real world elemental properties into this digital world. And for what reason? To create an incentive for people to actually come. It's
Yeah.
like if we discovered a planet, like let's say like SpaceX one day finds a new planet and it's got like this awesome resource on it.
Yeah.
What the fuck do you think all the billionaires of the world are going to want to do, dude? They're going
Right.
to want to
Go
build. Yeah, everyone's going to be the next Blue Origin. We got Purple Origin and Gold
Yeah.
Origin. Everyone's going to be making rocket ships. They're going to go to this planet
Yeah.
because there's something valuable there.
Right.
So, I mean, all we have to do is implant this valuable scarcity within the ecosystem of Decentraland.
Yep.
Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So, can we do that? I think along the lines of like, I think Satoshi had these same thoughts in his head whenever he created Bitcoin. He's like, dude, like, how do I get people wanting to give a fuck about this, decentralized validation network or whatever, this Bitcoin protocol, right?
Yeah.
He couldn't just put it out there like, you know how Nano operates just off like the good merit of the community. it's like you guys, you're not earning Nano by mining on the network, right? But if you're good people, you'll just mine anyways, right? So
Yeah. Yeah. I see
that's
what
not
you're
how
saying.
fucking people operate, dude.
Yeah.
People need a carrot. We need
sure.
this carrot on the stick, right?
Yeah, for sure. And it's hard to, it's hard to get into the mind of Satoshi when he was doing this because,
Yeah. But I mean, whatever he did, it worked.
yeah,
Like he set he created an artificial scarcity with
Well,
21 million.
I think it was more about solving a problem,
Mm-hmm.
and he had a solution of it. And to deploy that solution, he had to run the network himself. He had to be the first miner.
Yeah,
And so
because
then,
like he created it, right? And
right, he created it, so he just,
nobody else, everyone, he had like maybe a circle of
Right.
like developers.
yeah, for sure. Like he
But-
couldn't have done it by himself. But
Yeah.
so he deployed it. He was the first miner, or his group were the first miners. And then Hal Finney, he started to run the network a few days after it launched.
Yeah.
And you saw that tweet. He tweeted like January 10th or something, a couple of days after it launched.
Yeah.
And he said he was gonna
Is that the guy who
run Bitcoin.
cryogenically froze himself?
Yeah, that guy.
Dude, that guy's badass, dude.
Yeah.
What a boss move, dude.
Yeah.
Freeze yourself.
And so they were early in mining, so of course they earned a lot of Bitcoin, but
Yeah.
they didn't earn a lot of Bitcoin for the incentive of collecting Bitcoins. It was more about like, this is nerdy shit. This solves a big worldwide problem. It solves a computer science problem.
Mm-hmm.
And all I have to do is run this application on my computer and it solves that problem. Let's see if we can get others to download this application and run it.
Yeah.
And so we're talking about taking those aspects and figuring out how to deploy that on Decentraland and
Mhm. To create, like I said, some sort of legitimate scarcity on there, because right now it's an open platform and there's no reason for people to come.
yeah.
And I know, so you got like a few options. Either you make like this amazing actual game experience, which is very costly, very difficult to do on Decentraland because of the land constraints. It's
And the
not cheap.
limitations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of limitations. Or you create some type of money incentive,
Yeah, like we did.
Yeah. And this, it's literally, so I don't know how deep you want to go into the idea.
Well, let's go as deep as it goes. So the idea is essentially this: the gameplay is you would
the gamification, let's call it.
yeah. So we would create a smart contract using ERC, or we wouldn't create a smart contract. We would create an NFT token using ERC 721, pretty standard. Let's say an arbitrary amount, like let's say 60,000 units of this material, this scarce material, if you will. And the way you gain access, the way you acquire this material is by going into Decentraland,
Mhm.
right? And so it's not as simple as walking around Decentraland. You start acquiring these
Mm-hmm.
NFT tokens.
Mm-hmm.
So what you have to do is you have to have landowners deploy some mechanism to their land
Mm-hmm.
so that players can come and visit their land and quote unquote mine this material.
Yeah. Essentially, it's like a landowner is deploying a Bitcoin mining infrastructure. Let's not call it a Bitcoin, but yeah, it's the same thing. Those guys who are going to Iceland and building these big ass warehouses filled with PC,
Yeah.
ant mines or whatever the fuck they're called.
Yeah.
These Bitcoin miners. Why are they doing that? Because they're incentivized to do that. They're making money doing that.
Right.
And Yeah, they're fulfilling a purpose and upholding the network and stuff like that. But dude, their incentive is obviously monetary.
It is, but
100%.
you have to remember, in order to run it, it's so expensive to run a mining company that it has to be profitable. So part of the mining aspect is also propping up the price of Bitcoin.
Agreed.
Because once the Bitcoin price starts lowering, then there's less miners and it becomes unprofitable. But then it sort of stabilizes again. So I don't want to say that mining props up the price of Bitcoin so much so that it helps, right? The fact that there's so many miners and that it's so difficult to compromise the Bitcoin blockchain just because it's by design, that helps prop up the price of Bitcoin. But point here is that you would be able to extract some of these NFT tokens by quote unquote mining in Decentraland. And it doesn't have to look like a factory. It doesn't have to look like a rig. It could literally be a giant rock that you go and interact with. And the way you interact with is you interact by paying, let's say, a mana fee, and then you have the potential to mine these NFTs.
Yeah.
So then
I'm not exactly sure like how Bitcoin started out, like as far as like, but I know like the difficulty has been increasing based on.
So Bitcoin started out with like extremely easy difficulty.
Yeah, of course, right? Because
your laptop.
That early circle who started the damn thing.
Yeah, they were running it on laptops.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm assuming that they were getting rewarded up the ass, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So the same mechanism will apply in this scenario, right?
Yeah. So those who are early in mining in Decentraland, they have a higher rate of returns on this material, this NFT material.
Which is not going to be like this at the beginning. I'm assuming no one's going to think of it as anything valuable, right? Just like nobody thought of Bitcoin was like less than a penny or something at one point in those origin times. But over time, as more and more people adopted it and more and more people were working to uphold it, it grew, the value grew, people started speculating like, hey, there's something here. You know?
And so part of this, so we would institute this decay rate. So the more, as time goes on, the decay rate of the entrance of this NFT material starts to get harder and harder to obtain. And so then your natural question is, well, why would I do this for this just random NFT? So we've come up with this additional layer of purpose for this material. So if you stake this material in a different smart contract, you can convert that material into a different material. Let's say you're going from this original ore to carbon, and then you stake it again. You go from carbon to diamond. You stake it again. You go from diamond to like kryptonite. And so each phase of this material represents some time span of staking. So like the first stage is like a week. The next stage is a month. The stage after that is like 6 months. And so all this does is it represents the time value that was put into this this unit of NFTs. And so then the final concept to this would be that once you've evolved this material so many times, you'll be able to embed this material into a standard NFT, like a CryptoKitty or a Gods Unchained. And so it would create like sort of this we're thinking it might be a new standard where you can kind of merge ERC 721 tokens together into a new standard that developers could adopt. Let's say you're playing Gods Unchained and you're playing a card that has this embedded core into it, this embedded kryptonite in it. All it does, it just modifies the look of the card. It doesn't make the card any more OP or overpowered.
It could depending on whatever the game developer decides. That's the
true.
Whole point.
That's true.
What our intention is to, like I said, create just like gold is on this planet, right? I'm sure when humans first discovered gold, they didn't automatically know like what the application was going to be in the future of it, right? Over time, people became craftier and craftier, and they found reasons. At the beginning, I'm sure it was just jewelry.
Right.
It's pretty, right?
Yeah.
It looks cool. Let's
Yeah.
make some cool looking shit for it. Like you're saying, let's make our NFTs look cooler with this scarce resource that's on our planet.
Yeah.
But then people found out, hey, this thing is actually has like good chemical properties to it. Like it's a really good electrical, whatever the fuck, conducer or something like that. So there's real world application to it. So we want to leave it up to extrapolation, I guess what you'd say, for any developer within Decentraland or crypto voxels, whatever virtual world there is out there, or any NFT project that comes to mind. Because if this thing, has true value, then it impacts the value of the individual product
of the underlying NFT.
Exactly.
Yeah, because like let's say you have a Genesis cat and you merge that with unobtainium or adamantium core that you've staked, for so many, let's say, months or years.
Oh yeah.
That Genesis cat could arguably be more valuable than just a Genesis cat alone.
100%. You're combining two ultra rare NFTs.
Yeah.
How is that not more valuable?
Right.
Like that's.
And so this boils down to speculation.
Yeah.
Maybe at a certain point in the future it could be worth nothing, or maybe it could be worth millions.
Exactly.
That's sort of the point of this.
Yeah. Same thing with Bitcoin. Satoshi said this, either this is like dumpster fire or this is like the next big thing.
Yeah.
Those are his exact, well, not exact words, but those are sentiments.
Paraphrasing.
Yeah. Like he didn't know where this thing, but he recognized it's almost like a social experiment.
Yeah.
In a way.
Hal Finney said that, if this works out, we could be looking at a $10 million Bitcoin. This was in 2009.
Yeah. So
they knew what this could lead to. And just sort of like, this could be something or it could be nothing.
Exactly.
But the idea here is to create an incentive for players to go into Decentraland and potentially mine this material that you couldn't get otherwise.
Exactly. And you're investing your personal mana to acquire this thing, but I mean, just like you invest your money to mine Bitcoin, there's a return on this.
Exactly.
It's potentially you got to speculate, obviously this is like incredibly speculative, very risky, but the reward could be pretty good if it becomes adopted, right? And as of the state of Decentraland right now, we don't see anything else of value out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. And
like for the player, for the reason, for them to come onto this platform, like spend their time and money there.
Yeah.
And we're not saying this is all Decentraland's going to be.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to just turn into like a giant wasteland of like deposits and shit where people are just like dink, dink, dink. You know what I mean?
Mining away.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to happen, but why can't there be a period of time where like that that's what gets people to onboard onto the platform. And then, like I said, people will start to speculate. I think of it as like creating industry from the ground up.
Yeah. It's basically this mining aspect is you're trading your time for an NFT.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you obtain that original ore, which in this example, there's only 60,000 of them, right? Then you can stake that ore for more rare materials. And
this is just our idea. Somebody could do this exact same concept with like
something else,
like fucking
dragons,
cotton, or some type of material for clothing or anything.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And so one of the other things that we keep talking about is an MVP, so a minimum viable product. So what are the things that we can launch in the near term that kind of get this ball rolling? Because that's the hardest part in any project is starting. And so we're thinking we can essentially build a 3D render of a rock, just like a giant rock from the perspective of a human. It's pretty big, but a giant rock that you deploy on land, right? Some landowner buys this rock for X amount of mana. They deploy it. And in return, people will pay to, quote unquote, mine that rock. So the landowner would get a portion of that mana, and then we would use the remaining portion to continue building the features, the gaming aspects, the game mechanics of this entire thing. And so in real time, that player who is putting up mana to mine this rock, they're collecting this NFT that will eventually be able to be staked in a smart contract to be turned into another NFT, a more rare NFT.
Yeah, or you could just hodl the OG.
Or yeah,
just
hold on to it.
You just hold on to it if you want.
Yeah, or stake it, or whatever it is that you want to do. Like,
it's
up to the player.
That's the whole thing. That's the whole point, man. And I think this is like a good first step to creating value on Decentraland. And like you were saying, maybe this doesn't need to be done on Decentraland, just like all the other NFT things out there, or just I don't to me, I'm not 100% sold on people are just creating NFTs out of thin air, this value. I mean, essentially, it's the same thing we're doing, but there's actually some work involved.
Oh, for sure.
I feel like.
I totally agree with that. So I had originally, we were talking about how do we not deploy this on Decentraland so that we have the biggest market share?
Yeah.
And like you're saying, is people are creating NFTs out of thin air without any real work. They just create these 60,000 units or X amount of units.
Yeah, these Genesis NFTs.
And they just sell them in an auction.
Yeah.
Right?
They just, like I said, again, they're just throwing darts.
Yeah.
Because they know there's people out there who are, right now, they're in a speculative hunger.
Right.
People are looking for things to speculate on, right? So it's let's provide them. Let's supply this demand, and hopefully people buy it.
Right.
So, but I'm thinking, we have an opportunity to be the first to actually
do something that doesn't require, let's say those 60,000 units exist, but they can only be mined from the in-game world of Decentraland.
Which is
which is unique, and it provides an incentive to go to Decentraland in the first place, and it's probably a more entertaining experience than just buying a picture of a cat.
Agreed. Or more rewarding, at least.
Yeah. And then on top of that you can evolve these materials into more rare components of itself.
Yeah, and like we were saying earlier, some of them will have unique properties. Like we were looking at Opensea right now.
Yeah.
All these NFTs have, I think, too many properties, but we can literally just make purity of the properties of these resources.
You can make color a property.
Yeah, color, purity. Purity is important because they obviously, just like how that mythic card, there's only 3 of them or something.
Yeah. Density could be a property.
Whatever. And this isn't the physical world. It's why are we applying physics to Decentraland? But it doesn't matter.
Yeah, because we can.
Because we can, yeah. It's the whole point. And then it's not up to us to figure out what to do with this. Like I said, someone else can utilize this valuable resource to, create additional value, a new layer of value to a new customer base.
Imagine you're playing a game that has swords in it. And in this game, the swords are a bunch of NFTs, all right? ERC 721 tokens.
Yeah.
And you merge this sword with this galactic core that you originally mined in Decentraland a couple years ago.
Exactly, yeah.
And you've spent years staking this.
Put it in a centrifuge compressor cryo chamber or something like that. It's got everything. It's just just fucking it up for 2 years.
And then you take this galactic core after staking for 2 years or whatever it is, and you merge it with your sword, like that. From a gamer's perspective,
oh hell yeah!
It doesn't get more sexier than that.
It's true.
Right?
Yeah, and then you got something you can actually flex on them hoes with.
Talk about flexing, man.
That's what I'm talking about. All these other NFTs, how do you flex, man? That's to me
See, that provides a good incentive for developers in Decentraland, or not necessarily, but third-party developers. They render this sword in Decentraland with this core in it, and you walk around with this sword.
Oh, yeah. I know that feeling, dude. That WoW feeling, man. You're bringing me flashbacks to, those legendary WoW items, dude. There's only one guy in the server with, a mace. It was, a badass-looking mace. And, he would be standing, in the middle of the city, and, everyone's just, around him. Dude, you're a god, bro. I want to suck your dick, dude. That's how intense it gets, man.
Yeah.
Now imagine that, but this thing is actually
an actual asset.
Exactly. This thing is worth a couple hundred G's, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
This guy could buy a house with this mace if he wanted to.
Right.
Sell it. Dude, that's beautiful. I hope. Yeah, man. I don't know.
So yeah, then we're only limited to our imaginations. I mean, you could evolve these materials into infinity. And depending on what you roll in these properties,
Mm-hmm.
you might get like an extremely rare core that might be worth a lot of money. And like, of course, these are random rolls. We have no control as to who's going to get what.
Yeah, we're not like set in stone on like how the mechanics are going to work at all. You know,
But yeah, and the point is like, all right, ideas are a dime a dozen. They're cheap. They're free.
That's why I guess we're willing to just like fuck it, put it out there, right?
Yeah. Because the ideas, like I said, they're free, but the execution of any idea, that's where the real work, that's where the difficulty comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sort of excited about this because I see a way to where we can deploy this relatively quickly.
Yeah, and it's something that's needed. Something that I think could potentially, go viral in a sense.
Yeah.
Word of mouth type thing. Because,
Yeah.
like I said, everyone's looking in desperation mode for like a reason to come to Decentraland. Besides, seeing all these
parcels,
kooky looking creatures and stuff doing all these like dances and stuff. Pretty much. Which I mean, there's a market for that for sure. But like I said, we're thinking sustainability. We're thinking business here.
Mm. Yeah, and ultimately, there's going to be a lot more people like us, like building cool shit in Decentraland and like actually thinking outside the box and like merging all these concepts and ideas together. And that's the only way we see this going to be sustainable.
And that's just us. We could be wrong.
We could be totally wrong.
Yeah.
People might get into Decentraland just because it's a novelty thing, or they just like it, or whatever it is.
But I've seen the comments, man. The comments aren't pretty. Not just for DCL, but for like all these other
cryptovoxels and
just all of them, right?
Yeah.
People aren't impressed yet.
Yeah.
Or maybe it hasn't clicked in their heads like the potential that we see.
Yeah.
We see the potential there. It's just it's not like the root elements haven't been displayed properly, at least not yet.
Right.
But like we said, we on this podcast we looked at early Minecraft. We're like, dude, like if you're early into that game, I bet you're like, dude, like this is going nowhere. Yeah. This looks like shit. Yeah. Who the hell wants to play this blocky looking?
But even if you got in early in Minecraft, it didn't net you anything. Only if you worked for the company, you became a millionaire potentially.
100%.
And so it's different with Decentraland. If you're in early in Decentraland, you could. I don't want to say be a millionaire, but you could make some money.
Yeah, but you're also like, your incentive is like to create something of value.
Yeah,
to get to that point.
That's right.
And it's like you're benefiting the overall ecosystem if you succeed, right?
That's right.
And that should be everyone's objective in this community.
Yeah, because the land is not free, right?
But it's hard for people to like think of something like this, like a way, like I said, because remember we interviewed Metalith, like towards the end of it, I forget his name,
Joel and Mark.
Good memory, dude. Yeah, Mark. he's a game developer, and he's like, why should I develop on Decentraland?
Exactly.
That's what he asked us.
Yeah.
And I kind of like whiffed on my response a little bit. Like I think the most important thing that I didn't bring up, at least this is my sentiment, is like, he could spend all that time developing for like the Android market, which is like ultra super saturated, right? Or he could be like a pioneer on something that's like never been done before, the risk to reward ratio is like ridiculous, but that's the whole dude. Who doesn't want to be a fucking pioneer, man?
No, for sure.
That's the American spirit. You know what I'm saying? We're frontiers, dude.
It's all about thinking outside the box. I mean, and like the Decentraland has like so many of these limitations. It's like it's kind of cool if you can come up with something that's sustainable in a world with like these limitations.
True.
It's a challenge.
True.
And just coming out with a game on the App Store, it's
it's cool and all, and obviously the market is 1,000-folds greater than this one. But
and if you know gaming, you know that it takes millions of dollars to make games.
To break through. Yeah. Either that or you have like a fucking unicorn success story like Flappy Birds or something like that, right?
Which is 1 in a billion.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so I mean, I should have told him that. Like, it's a little, there's a lot of restrictions or whatever in the development process on Decentraland, but you got to think of it like,
And this idea, this can be done right now. Like we've already built everything in order to make this happen.
Yeah, we have MetaZone, which is what we plan to, the platform we want to use to distribute all this stuff.
Yeah.
Right. We can't just go in there and like hijack people's land and put fucking rocks on it. They got to come to us, and purchase these things. Well, we have the platform for that.
Yeah, and that's where the speculation begins. We'll have a rock for sale, and you know the landowners understands like why we're selling this rock, and the landowner would help in telling shilling that the rock yields NFTs.
Yeah.
And then you can eventually, once we get this other side developed, where you stake those NFTs, is like this whole thing starts, I guess grow, and the speculation starts on day one with purchasing the first rock.
100%.
So yeah, I think that covers everything that we wanted to talk about.
I guess so, man. Yeah, we just put that out.
So we want everybody's feedback. If you're listening to this and this is the first time you're hearing about NFTs, Decentraland gaming, whatever it is, and you have a comment idea, hit us up on Discord, make a comment on YouTube, tweet at us. This is a terrible idea. This is great. Whatever it is. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. We want to hear it.
We welcome all opinions 100%.
Yeah, if you're already working on this, join our Discord and tell us about it.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Like, we're not opposed to collaborating.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. We at some point also we want to bring on some other members of DCL community onto this podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
And we've already discussed it. Have like a round table, maybe even make it like a quarterly event.
Yeah.
This is all contingent on like, how involved,
people want to get, really.
Yeah. But the idea is because at some point, if this is truly to be Decentraland, the Decentraland guys have to step away from the platform and let the community run itself. They put in place the voting infrastructure and Agora.
Yeah.
And I guess they, have districts and stuff out there. They were hoping that would kind of catalyze some kind of community.
For sure.
I don't know if it's working so far.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we kind of feel like, we have a lot of incentive to kind of like pick up that baton, you know what I mean? And
yeah, for sure.
Maybe just get like a unified vision of things.
Yeah.
Because I keep hearing different opinions from the community, like what they want out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too deep into it, but MetaZone solves a lot of the problems that we're seeing with Decentraland in terms of like if you have a district, like it's so hard to deploy in this district with like all these lands merged together that it becomes too difficult to even like consider doing. And so, but with MetaZone, you can take an entire district and deploy anything you want individually, from a chair to like parcels individually within that district. So there's a lot to be done in Decentraland. We know that there's a lot of potential there, and this is sort of how we're gonna continue contributing, I guess.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean,
right now, like I said, right now it's just an idea. It's whether or not we'll execute on this. And if we don't, then fuck it, dude. Someone else do it. Yeah,
yeah. If we don't and you do it, let us know because we want to see it.
Yeah, it's a legit to me at least. It's like a human experiment. Yeah. I'd like to see whether or not like people, dude, because it's so crazy. Like what we assign value to, dude. We fucking worship these little green paperbacks, right? Like, we could assign value to anything. Yeah, that really has no value. So
I mean, we just saw a Genesis cat go for $200,000 2 years ago.
That's why, like, when this idea was concepted, is like, is this too crazy?
Yeah.
And then I started looking at OpenSea, like what's out there. I was like, no, this is not too crazy at all.
This is actually reasonable.
Maybe even more so than what's existing currently.
Yeah, yeah.
So it kind of gave me like a lot of inspiration. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely doable.
So make sure if you have any thoughts, comment and subscribe to our YouTube channel and comment. Anywhere that you find us. Let us hear your thoughts.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
All right. We're out.